Well, hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Mind of James podcast. Normally, I would be sipping on a nice cold Yuengling, but today is Wednesday, August 7th. And through the week, I don't like to drink. I don't like to have any alcohol or anything that could alter the mind because, I got responsibilities, man. I got to go to work, and I don't want to impair that in any case. I'm on third shift too, so getting up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and having some cold beers and then going back to bed just doesn't sound like a lot of fun to me. I like to keep my drinking on the weekends, but so we are doing this one stone sober, and boy, I do wish I had a few Yuenglings. This week has been a week. It's been a bit of a week. Yesterday I had a real tough time with my dog Maya passing away, but we got through it. It's been a real lesson for me. See, right now I don't have to take care of anything but me. I don't, for the first time in 10 years, the only thing I've had to take care of is me. Or the only thing I've had to take care of was dogs and me. And now it's just me. So I'm getting used to that, getting used to the fact that I wake up and I don't have to take the dogs outside. I don't have to feed them, take them to the groomers, take them on a walk, anything like that. It is just me. So I've been taking myself out to lunch. Been having nice lunch dates. Yesterday I went to this place called the Soup and Sandwich Box, which they make some really good deli sandwiches, man. All day long they'll make good sandwiches. Today I went to a place called Blue Ash Chili. It's over here in Tri-County, and their main one is in Blue Ash. Go figure. But that was a good thing. I had a chili mac and cheese. It was their signature chili on top of some macaroni and cheese with some shredded cheese, and that was really good. And you might hear me take a drink, but I got a Sprite to go, so hang on a minute. And so yeah, just been getting used to been taking care of, been getting used to just being me. And it's weird. It's very weird. You don't think you'd ever come to this point in your life, but now I have endless opportunities, so I can get up, go do what I want, and then come back and then do what I want, and then go to work. So it's been interesting. Very interesting. But this week's episode I wanted to record early because I'm going to a Dirty Heads concert Friday. And I normally do all my recording Friday. So this week's episode is about the power of communication. Communication is the one thing in this world that can make us or break us. What I mean by that is that if you don't know how to communicate, period, then what's the point? We do have multiple variants of communication. We have spoken word, text message, email, writing it on a piece of paper, smoke signals. There's all kinds of forms of communication. But it's how you communicate. It's who you're talking to and how you talk to them. I've had to learn that lesson quite often. And, I know who I'm talking to and I don't know. You know what I mean? If I know who I'm talking to, then it's going to be a very easy conversation. If I don't know who I'm talking to, I got to figure you out. How do you talk? How do you think? Because there's different ways to talk to different people. If you just assume everybody communicates the same way, then, you're going to have a rough time. a very, very, very rough time. Normally you have to figure it out if you're talking to someone above you, let's just say to management or executive levels. Get used to talking that manner. Get used to talking in a corporation type language, official language, properly said, have confidence in your voice and all that kind of stuff. If you're talking to someone, on your level or below you, I don't like saying below you, because, we're all equal on this planet. It's just what status of a human being are you? You know what I mean? Are you a CEO of a company or are you the janitor? And if you can learn how to treat them both the same way, then you got life made. You communicate differently, but if you treat them the same way, you got life made. But I remember one time I was part of Knights Templar, and the main guy, so what it is that you have commanderies, which is just your local group of guys getting together, and then you have your Grand Line, which is throughout the state of Ohio. So, you get your group, it's like being at work. You get your group of guys together and you all just talk shop. But you get the guys coming down from Grand Line, or executive as they would say. That's when you have to learn how to talk yes sir, no sir, right away, blah, 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 blah. And that, my friends, is a learning process in itself. You kind of, I'm telling you, you want to get good at life, or you want to get good at communication and good on how to speak correctly to people and how to treat people with that corporation respect, as they call it. Go through masonry. Ladies, it would be Eastern Stars for you, but go through it. Go through it. It definitely helped me become a better person. Definitely helped me become a better person. But I was talking to this one guy, and I could tell something. He was not into the shop talk. So I was like, okay, well, let's talk how he talks and see where it goes. And I started buttoning up my language. No offensive language, no curse words, nothing of that nature. Got really good at it. And, depending on who I'm talking to, I will still, it becomes second nature. After a while, you do it for so long, it becomes second nature. You can walk down the hallway, talk to one guy one way, keep walking, talk to the next guy a different way. It's just, excuse me, it's just how you do it. And it's a lot of fun too. I love learning how to better myself. I really do. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's very empowering. If you've mastered a skill that you do not know, it betters yourself, whether it's learning how to properly communicate in an email, your punctuation, greetings, your sign-offs, all that kind of stuff. In my emails, it was just saying, thank you, have a good day, James Allville. Now it says best regards. That can totally change the difference when who you're talking to. It really can. And it can go from being a floor worker to being in the office. But you got to be careful with that language too. That corporation talk, as they say, because if you say it the wrong way, you look like an idiot. Much like anything in this life, if you say the wrong thing, you look like an idiot. So, and over these years, I've had to learn how to just keep my mouth shut. Just keep it shut. And I used to be the guy who would just mouth off at anything. Just make the funny. Whenever there was a joke, I would make it. Whenever there was a smart alecky thing to say, I would say it. And you'll notice from last episode to this episode that I have changed the way I'm speaking in this microphone, because I want to prove a point that I can do both. I can be that friendly neighborhood guy that'll sit around and drink beers with you all day, or I could be that nice corporate language guy. I want to show you guys the difference between episodes. So, there is, speaking of communicating with different kinds of people, there is this book called The 48 Laws of Power that I listened to, and one law regarded in this, it was learn how to talk to people, learn how to upsell your language or dumb down your language. It's from the book. I don't particularly like it, but that's just how they said it, so that's how I'm going with it. That 48 Laws of Power book was really good. If you want to advance yourself in any form, that would be the book I'd start with. It teaches you, or it just tells you what you need to know, but it's up to you to actually go out and implement it. And I got to tell you, from 2018 to now has been a lot of growth, I'd say. Learning how to shut up, learning how to talk in the correct form of language, or that I need to over these years. And you really see the difference in how people will talk to you. Some days you get to shop. Some days I get to shop talk. And anymore these days, I don't even like shop talk. Now, what I mean by shop talk is that dirty jokes, offensive jokes, and all that kind of stuff. I don't even like to do it anymore. These past couple days since Maya died, I've just been thinking of myself as like John Wick without all the killing. I just keep to myself. I don't bother nobody. Hope nobody bothers me. And everything's copacetic, man. I just keep to myself. I wake up. I wake up, say my prayers, do a couple things around the house, and then I'll take a nap before I got to go back to work. But ever since starting this podcast, I wanted to make a podcast that also helps. So hopefully one of these days that this thing is going to reach somewhere, and I really want Yuengling to sponsor this podcast. I don't know why, but ever since I started this thing, I just want them to sponsor it. And anyway, so now let's talk about some simple miscommunication. Miscommunication is probably by far the worst thing that could ever happen to you, meaning that it could be the death of friendships. It could be the death of your character. Guys, I got to tell you, you got to have the uncomfortable conversations. You got to have them. And I've had plenty of uncomfortable conversations over my life. And they don't get, I can't say they don't get any better, but they do. They do. It gets easier to have the uncomfortable conversations, especially when you're in the right. If you're in the right, it's all day long, baby. It is all day long. But having those uncomfortable conversations make you a better person too. And I'm in the middle of something right now to where it's like nobody wants to have the uncomfortable conversation, but I will. But you have to come at me correct. Meaning you have to come at me, okay, we need to talk about this. This is what's going on. If you ain't going to do it, and in one of these situations, I've tried to reach out and talk about it, but nobody wanted to. So I just, okay, we're not going to talk about it then. Good enough. I did my due diligence as to where I need to reach out and do what I need to do to get talked to. And nothing got done. So, moving on. I'm moving on with my life, and I'm going to make this life the best I can in the second half. Because the first half, it was good. A lot of downs, a lot of ups. But I want the second half of my life to be just up. All the way up. As far as I can take it. As far as I can go. And I want to make sure that the second half of my life is going to be the best half. And, so far it's not been bad. There's been some hiccups. There's been some things that, I definitely didn't plan on. But we're getting there, man. We are getting there. And I can't thank the Lord enough, because he definitely got me through it, man. But we're on communication here. Let's get back to it. You know what I like to do to help me get good at communicating with people is just go out and meet people. Just go out to a bar. Go out to something as to where you're going to have to communicate with all different kinds of people. And damn it, you're going to get good at it. You're going to get so good at it. Like, I can't explain to you enough that if you master the art of communication, you will master a good 83% of your life. A good 83%. And here's another thing I forgot to write down, but I'll bring it up now, is that if you learn how to read other communications. So let's just say you're not very good at reading corporate language. Get good at it. Sometimes the corporate language is that you have to say it without saying it, and you have to say one thing and completely mean another thing. And I still have to learn that. I still have to learn how to interpret that. And it is by far a very good it's a very good thing to learn. And you know what you could do? Just start by reading contracts you sign. So let's just say you buy a car. Just read the entire contract. Read the entire contract and see how many loopholes you're going to find. You want a better one? If you're in a union, read your union contract. See how many loopholes there are in that. One thing might lead to another. This loophole is going to cover that loophole, but this loophole is going to go to this. It's all a giant mess. But if you learn how to read it and learn what it's saying without it saying it directly, you're going to master corporate life. I guarantee it right now. I guarantee it right now. Sorry, I had to get my vape here. We're chiefing on some Raz again. Rays or Raz, whatever it is. It is blueberry something. I don't know. But it tastes really good. Let me get a hit off this. But yeah, corporate communication is probably the hardest language that you're ever going to listen to or interact with. And if you can get good at that, then you can get good at any kind of communication. Now, learning a different language, I tried learning Russian for a little bit, and I gotta tell you, it's a toughie. And I could have picked any language. my ex-girlfriend is from Kazakhstan. So you know, in Kazakhstan borders Russia, so they kind of share languages here a little bit, but it just got me interested in learning a different language, and I don't know why I picked Russian. Well, 90% of the movies you watch here in America are going against Russia, so you know, might as well make that a good one. But yeah, learning a different language can help you unlock other things in your life too. Makes your mind sharper, and it just helps when you meet someone who's not from here, from this country or your country, wherever you're listening from, and just like they feel included. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I know your language too. Come on in. And you know, I'm smart enough to learn a different language. It's going to take me a little bit. I'm not, you know, it's not like riding a bike. But you know, learning a different language is probably going to be on a bucket list at some point. But I'm here recording this podcast for you guys and for myself because I feel like this is a lot of therapy. We're going to get a couple episodes in this program to where it's just I am flying off the handle with what I want to talk about. Yeah, like I'm pretty sure the Dirty Heads concert, I'm gonna have a lot of things to say about that. But you know, this communicating thing, you know, I wish I could go back into some points in my life and said some things differently. You know, because I used to be that dickhead who thought he knew everything and was 10 feet tall and bulletproof, but I'm 5'10" and I'm definitely not bulletproof, so figured that out. But you know, I love communication, and some people are just different with it. Like I've met a lot of introverts that love to communicate some other ways. For example, me. I am an extroverted introvert, I found out. I love to be out and about, but I love more to just relax and chill. And, you know, I don't talk a lot when I'm at work. I don't talk to a lot of people. And, but making this podcast and, you know, being around certain, you know, my kind of people, I'll talk your ear off. But, you know, knowing when to shut the fuck up is a good source too. I'll tell you that. Knowing when to shut the fuck up. Because you're sitting, like, yesterday morning at work, I stood in a circle while everybody was talking and I said one line. That was it. I said, that was it. And, it is one of those things to where it's like, just shut up and listen. You want people to tell you about themselves? Just shut up and listen. Just shut right up. They'll talk all day long. And here's another good thing to get good at. When you talk to someone, don't just listen to how they respond. Watch how they respond. Stutters in the voice, eye contact, you know, just make sure that you're watching how they respond, and you'll understand what's going on with them. I'm not going to dive too much deep into that because I want you guys to figure that out. But communication comes in all various forms, man. And you know what is probably the safety net of all this communication is a pencil and a piece of paper. I gotta tell you, when I was a Knights Templar, it was guys 30 to 40 years older than me, you know, 60s, 70s, some 50s, but it was mainly 60s and 70s. Like when COVID hit, our average age was 68.5. So they're not really big on the whole technology thing. But one day I had to collect money for donations, and one of the guys was like, "You want a piece of pencil? You want a pencil and a piece of paper?" I was like, "No, I'll just use my phone and email it to the treasurer." And it kind of blew his mind. And it was wild, dude. Wild. But, hey, the piece of paper and a pencil is probably the biggest safety net we are going to ever have as far as communication. Because it's always going to be there. Those two items are always going to be there. I have not heard of a shortage of paper or pencils as long as I have lived. But I've heard shortages of other things. But it's communication is one of the things you have to willingly want to learn to get better at. It's just not going to happen to you overnight. And if you're not wanting to get better at it, you're not going to get better at it. Simple as that. You're going to have to sit there and, actively pursue it. The best thing you do is listen to books. Listen to books on tape. I'll tell you one thing. Joey Diaz is one of my favorite comedians, and he wrote a book called Tremendous Life of a Comedy Savage. And if you listen to him talk on podcasts, it was completely different to when he was doing his audiobook. And just how he talked and what he said, and how he presented the material. I like guys like Jordan Peterson, Lex Friedman, Tony Robbins. They all know how to communicate. They all know how to properly communicate. Proper to what they do. Now, me being a welder by trade, God, the shop talk is rough. And I never really knew it until I had to step back and be like, wait a minute, I don't like this anymore. This is not what I want to do. This is not who I want to be. So, you guys make sure that if you want to learn how to communicate, if you got to, take some courses. Go find a course that people get together and talk to. Go out to a bar and just talk to people. Go do things. I've made a very healthy change in my life to where I know that I don't want to be a part of the shop talk anymore. I want to be a part of the corporate side of things. So I have to better myself. And I had to learn how to do that. And I hope you guys just didn't hear my neighbor screaming there. But anyway. But this has been another fun episode of the Mind of James podcast. Did it stone sober. Didn't have any Yuenglings in the system. Although I wish I had, because I enjoy that tasty cold beer. And we'll have some good episodes. Every episode I feel has its key points. And I'm not a master at this podcasting thing. I still have a lot of work to do, learning how to do it. And I'll tell you a really good way that I learned is just jumping into something and just doing it. And figuring out as I go along. So I want to thank you guys for listening. I want to thank you guys for being here. And I want to thank you guys for being here on this planet. And if no one's told you guys today, I'm proud of you all. I'm proud of you all that you have gotten up another day, that you have made it another day. Sometimes, man, sometimes in life you just got to go day by day. You know, you don't know what the next day is going to bring you. But if you get there, you figure it out. And, you know, to those who have made it another day, and don't know if they're going to make it to the next day, you will. You will make it to the next day. I promise you that. You know, if God keeps waking you up, He ain't done with you. He ain't done with you. And he won't be until you have completed your life's purpose. He ain't done with you. And we will talk about purpose eventually. You know, we all struggle to find it. We all struggle to, like, really? That's what I'm here for? But, hey, you all made it another day. I made it another day. Praise God along the way. You all have a good evening, and I'll catch you on the next episode. See you.